Here we go. My top 10, number 10. I was actually blown away. This is the cool thing about comic books is that you can make comic books about anything. Okay? And video games have found a nice home in comic books. This one is from December of 1994, and it's Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition. Okay, it's a massive book. I have it somewhere. I wish I could have found it ahead of today's thing, but I do have the image up for me to kind of view. It dropped in December of 94. It's a 64-page special. I love big comic books with a lot to read. That's my favorite thing. If I'm spending a decent amount of money on a comic book and there's like 10, 12 pages, I'm kind of like, It takes away it stinks. It stinks. I love to just relax and enjoy comics, enjoy the pictures, and the more pages that I have to view and appreciate, the better. But regardless, so obviously I'm putting up the image on the screen, but I like comic book covers with a lot of characters where there's a lot to look at and seek out. All right, I think with a lot of pictures and drawing and any kind of art, you like to look through and you get excited when you notice certain details. MK2 is my favorite Mortal Kombat game, and this has every single character except like Kintaro on it, but it has every single character essentially on the cover. All right, I'm looking at it right now. You got Sonya, Reptile, Liu Kang, Raiden, Johnny Cage, Kano, Baraka, Melina, Kung Lao, Jax, Scorpion, Katana. Or maybe that's Sub-Zero. Is that supposed to be Sub-Zero? I don't know if it's supposed to be Reptile or Sub-Zero. Either way, really, really cool. I guess in storyline, the original Sub-Zero had kind of died at this point, as far as canon goes. But and then in the very background is Shang Tsung and Goro. Yeah, that looks like Reptile to me. So no Sub-Zero on it. But regardless, there's a lot of characters, all the favorites from the first two games, which I don't think MK3 came out until 95, so that makes sense being up to this point. And it was a good read, but just visually a lot to look at. You're trying to, I really just learned something new that Sub-Zero wasn't on the cover looking at this, but it's just cool to look at just all the art style and detail that they put into this MK cover. And there's a lot of great Mortal Kombat covers out there. There's actually, even outside of other video game ones. I've read Resident Evil comics, God of War, and Mario. There's a lot of great Mario comic books out there. I have one more that's going to be coming up soon too, but it's a lot to look at, and it's visually appealing. So that is why it makes my number 10. My number 9 is Venom Lethal Protector, number 5. It's from May of 1993. That's when it was released. I know there's there's two different dates. There's the publication date, and then they call it the cover date. So a couple of these are probably a little mixed up. Sorry about it. But Venom Lethal Protector number 5. The Lethal Protector storyline is really, really cool because this is the first time we really start to see Venom treated as a hero, even though he's not really a hero. He's that anti-hero tweener. Which I think is tremendous. I love a character that is down the middle, and is true to themselves in a way. All right, their actions or what they view as correct is could be taken as good or bad. The Punisher is like that a lot too, but for Lethal Protector number 5. The cover is Spider-Man and Venom together. They're swinging in, so this is one of their first team-up books, if I'm not mistaken. And it's really cool on the outer edges of the comic book cover. You can see different tendrils, and the Lethal Protector storyline dealt a lot with Venom's kids, right? Venom's children, these various symbiotes: Carnage, Phage, Scream, Lasher. Oh Christ! I think there's one or two more. I'm forgetting. Forgive me for that, but you can see something you can see Carnage's hand on the bottom right corner. It's one of Scream's tendrils on the right side of the book. Lasher from the top, right. There's just a lot to look at and appreciate with this cover, and it's just cool for me too, just to see Spider-Man and Venom together. All right, they did make some game. Actually, yeah, May of '93. So this kind of runs around the time of Maximum Carnage too. So this is the early parts of them kind of working together and putting aside their differences. So it's just cool to see them on the same side. I love those random team ups. There's like a Spider-Man and Doctor Doom team up book somewhere out there. I love seeing these team ups, and they have such a history. Especially this time, Venom was so popular that they had to kind of make him that tweener, good guy, bad guy kind of thing, and this is a great run. So Venom Lethal Protector number 5. All right, this was the other video game book that I was referencing to. My number 8 is Sonic number 100, and I actually remember buying this book many, many years ago at, I think it was Hills. It was either Hills or Vic's, that little plaza that I referenced in my closed down businesses list many weeks ago. But this was the first video game comic that I ever purchased, and Sonic was still like my guy at that time, even though Sega was pretty much done. The Dreamcast, they stopped producing it, they stopped making games for it. But I like the cover for this. I think it's done really, really well. I mean, obviously, I think the art style, I don't even know how to describe it, but the art style looks really cool. Having Sonic in the front. Of course, I adore Tails, and there's all these other characters that are kind of around, these side characters that are a part of Sonic's lore. But I also like in the very, very back, there's like a bunch of different older covers that they have on display. So there's a lot to look at with this cover. And again, it's Sonic the Hedgehog. Great character, love the character, and the art style just pops for me. So that's my number 8. Number 7. This one's pretty cliche, but it's a powerful one nonetheless. This is my only DC comic one on here, and there are a lot of great DC comic book covers, but this one just speaks to me. I do own this book somewhere. All right, it is from November of 1992, if I got my date right. It is The Death of Superman. All right, Superman number 75. It is a iconic cover. It's just the stick in the ground with Superman's cape hovering above it. And if you have no idea what the previous issues of this book, what it pertained to, and you see that cover, you're blown away. And this is like, maybe at this time, and I was only a year old at this point, year and a half old, but maybe at this point you don't really realize that everybody comes back. I mean, there were some iconic deaths, Uncle Ben, amongst many others, but the idea of killing off Superman, who's this great legendary hero who it's literally just overpowered always, and the idea of Superman dying is like, it's mind-boggling. This cover is powerful. Like, that's gonna entice me to buy this book, and it is a tremendous book. But just the sadness, the dark ambience of the book, I would dare so say, just it has this sad tone to it, is very enticing. So, The Death of Superman, one of the most powerful covers, I think, in comic book cover history. That is my number 7. All right, we're going back to the side of Marvel, and we're going back to Spider-Man, and it's Amazing Spider-Man number 375. It is the giant-sized 30th anniversary of Spider-Man at this point. This came out in March of 93. Man, but 93 was a really good year for comics, it seems like, and also, like, I think just pop culture in general, I would dare so say. But this cover is beautiful. I have this one somewhere too. I have a holographic version of this cover. So it's Spider-Man and Venom kind of going hand to hand. The story inside it is great, first and foremost, but the cover is what we're talking about here. I like how the cover, the background is all yellow, there's webs, and it just makes Spider-Man and Venom pop. And their art style here is my favorite kind of art style. I don't understand like the hate towards 90s comic book art style. I really just can't fathom it or understand it. But these are my favorite designs of these characters. And it's just them tussling, and you see Spidey versus Venom, the final confrontation. And it basically ended. The story ended with a handshake and a bit of a truce between the two characters. But when you see Final Confrontation, you're like, especially with how overdone it had been, like they just kept coming back to it, coming back to it, coming back to it. It was nice to kind of like, okay, we're going to separate these characters a little bit, just a wee bit. And that is what they did. So beautiful, beautiful cover. The Amazing Spider-Man, number 375. It is tremendous. All right, on to our top 5. So the next one, going back to is just sticking in the Spider-Man wheelhouse because that's what I do best, clearly. My favorite, absolute favorite comic book storyline of all time is the Maximum Carnage storyline. I've talked about my connection with it through the game. I liked how it brought so many interesting and different personalities together to fight Carnage and his band of superpowered villains. But it's Spider-Man number 36. And the covers is kind of like, it's kind of goofy, but it's also like it's wild too. Because in storyline, Venom's had enough of Spider-Man's, kind of like mercy, like white meat baby face, like good guy kind of approach. And it's him just blasting Carnage with a sonic gun that they stole from the Fantastic Four's headquarters. And I just like how it says "No more Mr. Nice Venom," and it's funny. I mean, I'm following around the storyline regardless, even though I did this retroactively. But just cool seeing. I mean, you got Spider-Man, Venom, and Carnage on it. Carnage is like half of his body, like the symbiote's kind of trying to leave him, and it just looks great. It just looks cool. Those three work so well together on any piece of art, and you get Spider-Man in the background kind of just waving to like chill out because he's still trying to maintain his standards and values, which I love. And it was a theme throughout, which is Spider-Man trying to maintain his morality while trying to stop Carnage in New York City from breaking down and going wild. So that is my number 5. Number 4, Disney Marvel really took over doing Star Wars comic books, and they've done a brilliant job of bringing them to life. My number 4 favorite one is Star Wars Darth Vader number 5. Came out September of 2020, and it's the cover, as you can see. It's this great split almost down the middle between Vader and Anakin Skywalker. We're going to be doing a Star Wars list next week because May the 4th is going to be here before you know it. And spoiler alert, Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader, that dynamic that character is my absolute favorite. And, I guess I can explain it now. I don't know when I'll get a chance to. But the idea of somebody as good as Anakin Skywalker, at least when we see him in episode 1, and all the decisions, things around him that corrupted him and turned him into Darth Vader is like amazing. Like it's a metaphor for life and how we go through life. We're so pure at the beginning, but so many things can happen that alter our destiny, can shape us, and one bad decision can leave a mark on us forever. That's permanent and change our character and who we are. But I love the split design in this. They did this in the one of the Thrawn books that I mentioned back when we did a book list. But just showing the Anakin and Darth Vader, your eyes are moving. You're trying to. There's a lot to see. It's simple, but there's a lot to see with this book, and it's simple but very effective. And even though I really wasn't following the story at that point, if I see that, I'm going to buy it just for the cover on itself. I really am. But they did a very good job with this run doing Darth Vader books. I will say that. My number 3, it's the Infinity Gauntlet number 1 cover from July of 1991. So many characters on it. There's again a lot to look at, and it's the colors pop. It's a black background, but you have so many different characters who are all going to get pulled into this feud with Thanos. And you got the Infinity Gauntlet, all the gems, the Infinity Gems. They're not even stones, I don't think, at this point. But the Infinity Gems are the light's reflecting, and it's I just like I like the way it looks, the traditional gauntlet. Um, the whole storyline. There's a lot of great covers in this run. The whole storyline is pretty good. I think Marvel did a very good job relaying it without making it too ridiculous because uh, the heroes really stood no hope in the story. But in the context of the cover, to fit as many characters on there, important characters as they did, and there was so many more. Um, it was special. It's a very iconic cover. Actually, when we did a podcast convention many years ago, I had a copy and I auctioned it off for people to buy a raffle ticket and whatnot and buy it. And I kind of wish I held on to it, but it's an iconic cover. My number 2, this is Venom Separation Anxiety, number 4, A Deadly Reunion. And to me, this is the best Venom cover. I love like the symbiote. Like I just love the art style when it's done right. This alien creature that's like, it looks like goop all over and it exposes and whatnot. And I like this, like, okay, here's Venom, and then here's Eddie Brock. You can see Eddie Brock on the inside, just glimpses of him, but enough to see his emotions. And this is similar to the Star Wars Darth Vader cover, where there's a lot to look at. There's a lot to see. Like, if you take your time and look through, there's some cool things to pick out and whatnot. And this is that tremendous Venom art style that I love so much. It's cool. Like, stuff like this, like covers like this are why I love the Venom character so much. And I've always been just so interested. Having a symbiote might be kind of cool. Like in a weird way, it might be kind of cool to just like, all right, Venom, come on, come out, buddy. Like, it's just like, I've always been fascinated by that. So, but it's a great cover, a lot to look at, and absolutely adore it. So that is my number 2, and number 1 is the X-Men Volume 2, number 1. This is the infamous Jim Lee. Oh, it's not even infamous. It's famous. The Jim Lee cover that basically rebranded the X-Men. They have all these new modernized costumes, adding some new members to the team. This is my favorite era of X-Men stuff because it basically, the X-Men animated series, the original one, pulled from this. Well, you know what? X-Men 97, I guess, did too. But it pulled from this art style. It uses this art style, this modern art style, and it gave the X-Men a nice facelift. And again, it's just some of their best costumes. I'm typically not one for variant covers, but I think I'll give this one a pass. There were 4 variant covers on this book, and I'm going to rotate them in for you on the graphics on screen. But we have, firstly, the Cyclops and Wolverine one. We all know their love-hate dynamic that they have, and I really like that Wolverine is in the brown and yellow. I actually prefer the brown and yellow costume to the blue and yellow, but that's just me. But that's my favorite Cyclops uniform right there. Beast Storm, Professor X, and Jean Grey on another cover. I actually own this one. I have this one. I almost brought it in today, but it's not my favorite one, so I didn't necessarily do it. Then there's the other one with Colossus, Rogue, Psylocke, and Gambit. Big fan of Gambit. I think he's a tremendous character. I love his look and style. So there's that cover, and then there's the one with just Magneto extending his hand, looking all powerful, and this one of his best art designs as well. So, that's my number 1. 1A, B, C, D, essentially. But what a great era. What a great era.